And once again, thank you for being with us on our continued coverage of TIA 2013. I'm here with Lucian Vittel. He's the founder, CEO, and executive director of Gamedesk. And Lucian, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here. It's a very forward, progressive way of thinking as far as education and learning. Can you tell us more about Gamedesk?
Sure. We're one part research institute, one part game studio. We've designed and built our own school with support of the Gates Foundation. And what we've tried to do is create an effective ed tech ecosystem that allows us to accelerate products both for the mobile market, for low-tech environments in schools, and to also accelerate teaching culture and adoption nationally around 21st century use, both wireless and 4G.
Now, I just recently was told that you have a partnership with ATT. What is that partnership?
So about 14 months ago, ATT approached us and said, how are you thinking of scaling this work? So we had done all kinds of work throughout the Southern California area. We'd had a variety of products. We'd been integrating and aggregating a variety of products and using them effectively. But the question was, how would we scale? So we decided to do a partnership with ATT. We received their largest historical contribution in their corporate history to build a aggregate portal that basically collects all of the most engaging apps, games, tools, kits that are cutting edge and viable and workable in the classroom. And not only did we put them on one place, but we created lesson plans and what we call bridge materials. That it's not about getting the device in the classroom, it's about what you do with it. So already we're seeing that there's district adoption happening all over the country of mobile devices. And what we're readily seeing now is that a lot of those adoptions have no professional development or cultural work around their adoption. So we're looking at devices that have a lifespan of about 2.5 to 3 years. So it's not about just getting them in the schools, it's about renewing those purchases and building real brand trust so that people are using these devices and these technologies as a critical tool and a core tool in the classroom. If they're not a core tool, they're not going to be used.
Can you give me a real life use case of what makes these learning apps so compelling?
So, for example, there's some really fantastic sandboxes out there. And what a sandbox is, it's an interactive environment that allows you to trial and error. So one of the things that we see right now is there's a lot of kids out there feeling that they really can't get their head around science. They can't really get their head around math. What is an engineer? And then also there's a culture in the schools that does not necessarily encourage failure. But we find that sandboxes and games really, as a mechanism of their use, encourage failure. You're allowed to build over and over again, try over and over again, and you're encouraged to try over again and basically perfect your knowledge or perfect your performance. Now imagine what a classroom would be like if the classroom was like that. If we took the same mechanics that essentially drive games. You will only play a game as long as it's consistently engaging, as well as just difficult enough to where you're able to get over the hump. Now what happens in school is that it's either not engaging or it's too difficult to get over the hump, and what you start getting is disengagement. And students become unmotivated to continue. And so what you see in these sandbox environments like Newton's Playground or Crayon Physics, or there's a fantastic product called Algodoo, many of which are free. Many of the pieces within these modules are free and available to teachers. Some are available on mobile devices, some are available without connectivity. You just need to be able to get it on a device. Also, there are products that will work on some of the oldest computers in the district. Most people aren't aware of that. And so what you see in these environments is that kids are able to play through over and over and over, and at their own pace figure out these science spaces, these engineering spaces, these math spaces, these humanities spaces, and also in a self-directed, interest-driven way. So we're seeing a lot of products out there. We're also seeing products out there that were not designed for education that are being used for education. So we're seeing SimCity being used in the classroom. We're seeing Minecraft, which is a huge sensation in America, being used in the classroom. We're seeing Angry Birds being used in the classroom to understand parabolas in physics. And so teachers are already becoming resourceful and finding a way to use these games as a way to engage their students. But until we built this portal, there wasn't a place to find these things or know generally where all of this was, and there wasn't a voice for the teacher. You have to realize that these are highly siloed environments. There's district connectivity, but at the end of the day, it's the teacher in the classroom. They close the door. So what's happening behind that door? So we need to create a voice for the teacher, the 21st century teacher, and we need to create a voice for the 21st century product, and we need to create a voice for the 21st century market. And this is the type of data streams that telecoms need to know. There was an interesting talk last night about the improvement cycle that Netflix takes in order to basically adopt or take on one of its new content lineups. So she was talking a little bit about the House of Cards, and that basically the adoption of that of all those episodes was not based on a pilot or a series of meetings. It was based on looking at the data. Already Netflix knew by looking at the data, tracking behaviors, plays, rewinds, level of connectivity, level of watching. They knew political thrillers were something that a large part of their client base was already interested in. They knew that Kevin Spacey was someone that people tend to click on a lot. They already had the data. They already knew they were going to have a successful product by looking at the data. So what does that mean for the telecom market? What does that mean for the education vertical? What does that mean for anybody who's working on the chip side, the mobile content side, the mobile device side, the telecom side? This data is important to know what they need to be building, what type of things that people want, and what's going to work. So we need that real-time data, and also Educade was a way to start collecting that data and figuring out what kind of market this is and what kind of behaviors are we seeing in the classroom and outside of the classroom.
It seems to me that nationwide high-speed broadband connectivity is critical for your business. And how is that?
So
connecting everybody in the nation.
Absolutely. So I think it's really important that there's grassroots advocacy mixed with awareness at the district level and awareness at the federal level. I don't think that the Fed is aware of the types of success stories that are happening around this work. I think people are very aware of the horror stories and the sort of criticisms of this work, because you are seeing schools getting these tablets where the culture of teachers aren't knowing what to do with them and they're setting them aside. But you're also getting proof points. So we need to be highlighting those proof points and figuring out how to make that infrastructure work. And we need to basically make sure that the communication is clear and that the awareness is clear to folks at the telecom level and at the policy level, at both the federal and district.
How are you, are you involved in influencing policymakers? Is there someone on your staff or someone you're working with, an organization that's helping you do that?
So we're an innovation group. We focus on innovating the technology, innovating the content, innovating the culture. We don't want to become a policy
of course.
A group. So what we've done is we've partnered with Connected Nation, which has a major presence at this conference. And they are tried and true. They know the stakeholders, they know the district representatives, they're working at the federal level. And so we've been working together for 12 months. We've been working with chip manufacturers, mobile manufacturers, and building projects that are going to do this type of work. We're providing the quality content and the quality culture and helping these schools adopt, and they're providing the language and the advocacy and the awareness around that to stakeholders that can actually make a decision around making all of this scale and more pervasive. It's a shame. It's a shame if we have a pervasive mobile market that where students and your children are inundated with a variety of extremely engaging and complex systems of interface, and they live in a world that is completely not reflected in the formal learning environment. We live in a globalized society where people are tweeting, blogging, interacting, producing their own media, producing on their own YouTube. We've moved in what scholars call the participant society. Everybody is making, everybody's producing, and they're doing it at low cost and in their homes, and they're engaging in complex discourse, and those same types of technologies and experiences are not reflected in the classroom.
We look forward to seeing what turns out with Gamedesk. It seems like you're already ahead of the game, and that partnership with AT&T, I'm sure, will help facilitate that. So we appreciate your time and being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And once again, thank you for watching our continued coverage of TIA 2013, again here at the Gaylord National in Washington, D.C. To access any content from TIA 2013, go to the TIA2013.org website, and to follow us on Twitter, please go to TIA_now. So long.